It is overtime here at Barrel Monks Brewing for Old Favorite Friday, and we are continuing our discussion about Saison Dupont, and one of the most incredible Saisons ever made, that ever will be made. And I was just perusing, Joel, through Untapped and looking at some of the ratings for this beer, and it has a 3.71 on Untapped. And then scrolling through, I see a lot of 2s, a lot of 3s, and all I could think of is, I don't think I want to live on this planet anymore. I think that that's evidence that people have no idea what the hell they're talking about. This is legitimately, objectively, one of the greatest beers ever made.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And, I think when it comes down to it, I would obviously have to read the comments to see what the descriptions are and what people are thinking about this one. But, to me, there are some variations between this and, what would be your standard American current Saison.
Sure.
Even though the bottle says it's blonde, by 2022 standards, this is borderline pale. It almost reminds me of an IPA of 10 years ago, just a regular American IPA. It's really bordering on pale. It might be the dryness. We have seen firsthand that this, current kind of consumer base really likes it sweeter, thicker, bigger mouthfeel, a lot more, residual sugar to it. This thing's bone dry and beautiful, and I think those kind of beers really fly under the radar and don't get the love they deserve. It's really terrific. Everything you said in your video earlier is 100% correct. This is the Saison.
When we were trying to craft our Saison Nuance, the first thing we did was go and get a bottle of Saison Dupont and say, this is what we're trying to get. And when we were making a Saison in my previous brewery, it was the same thing. It is what you do if you are a brewer in the United States and you are trying to start with a basis of this beer. There is flavor profile differences and everyone has their own preferences, don't get me wrong, but it is one of those standard bearers. It's one of those things you go back to over and over again. And if you consider yourself to be a craft beer drinker and you have not had this beer, you're missing something, because this is a foundational beer for a style. It comes off as incredibly flavorful and aromatic from that wild yeast and that character that you get from the yeast and the hopping that is amazing for as dry as it is. It gets so much out of such a finite amount of ingredients. It gets so much flavor. It's what we want to do in brewing ever, all the time, right?
Yeah, and I think with this one, there are so many beers that we featured on here, especially ones from overseas like this, that people are aware of. And just lately, for whatever reason, the current trends and the what have you done for me lately kind of thing with beer, those beers kind of just fell by the wayside. But this one, I kind of truly feel like maybe not everyone knows about.
Right.
I kind of feel like this is one of those ones that, for whatever reason, it's just not on Americans' radar, and it absolutely needs to be. Go to the store, get one of these, get the big bottle. Don't get the little 330s, get the big bottle, because I'm telling you, you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. And just the Saisons in general. We featured beers like Tank 7 on Old Favorite Friday before, which is a beautiful, beautiful beer. Ommegang Hennepin, great beer. Saison is a great, great style. It has immense possibilities of what you can accomplish aromatically, flavor-wise, when it comes to the yeast you use. And it's something that we as brewers should be doing more of and educating more people in, because of all those possibilities. So I think we've heaped enough praise on this beer. I'm going to go make out with this bottle for a few minutes after we turn off the camera. And I hope you guys come back for us next time with Old Favorite Friday. Cheers.
Cheers.